following program comes from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, songwriter, 15-year WWE host Lilian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania. And the first to launch her own podcast, which gives you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes and extraordinary entertainers. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lilian Garcia.
Welcome, everybody, to Chasing Glory. Yes, welcome. You can find us, remember, at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram. You can also find me personally on Instagram and Twitter at Lilian Garcia and Lilian Garcia official fan page. Don't forget, too, on that Chasing Glory Podcast page on Instagram, you are going to find every Friday, Glory Friday. That tells you who the next week's guest is. So if you guys tuned in, you know that Charlotte Flair is on today. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, on the heels of Becky Lynch. That was pretty exciting that I got to book them back to back, especially because they're in a major storyline together, heading into Evolution. And I love this second interview of Charlotte Flair. If you guys didn't hear her first interview, you can go back, because all you have to do is go download Chasing Glory Podcast. You can, the easiest way to find that is to download the app. That's right. Chasing Glory has its own app. So if you have iOS or if you have Android, both ways, you can find it. So just go to the App Store and, like I said, download Chasing Glory app and look at all the past interviews. So if you do that, you'll scroll through and you can see that Charlotte Flair was a guest on Chasing Glory. And wow, what a crazy, very, very, I would say, what's the best way to say it? Very vulnerable interview, which I loved because she really let us in as to everything that was going on. And it was a year ago. So it's really cool to catch up with her a year later. And now seeing as her and her best friend, Becky Lynch, are at odds with each other and where the storyline has gone. So it's pretty exciting to see where everything is heading. All right. So first, though, like I always do, thank you to my last week's guest, Becky Lynch. Man, you guys really blew up social media. And I can't thank you enough for that, because it really lets me know that you're loving the guests, that you're loving what they say. That's the thing. You guys really connected with everything that Becky Lynch said, and her new attitude, her newfound determination, her newfound strength and belief in herself. And it's incredible too how I loved seeing the comments that you guys said, man, I was doubting myself and I needed to hear that message. So I love that today you're going to hear Charlotte Flair, the flip side of things, how Charlotte is dealing with this feud and what are the obstacles that Charlotte is dealing with in her life that have nothing to do with what Becky's dealing with. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. But first, I just want to say that I thank the New York Jets for booking me. I'm so excited. Next week, guys, next Sunday, October the 7th, I will be singing the national anthem once again. This will be my 13th time of singing for the New York Jets. And yeah, it's so exciting every time I go. They let me know last year I'm holding the record for singing the most amount of times for the Jets games. Woohoo! Yes! Another one in the history books. I'm so excited for that. But you know what's even more exciting is the fact that it is WWE Day that day. That's right. It's WWE Kids Day at the New York Jets field. And so there's going to be WWE superstars there as well. So come out and join us next Sunday, October the 7th. It's against the Denver Broncos at 1 p.m. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. So we're heading into Evolution, guys. So here we go. Here's another compelling interview from the female superstars. And this time it's none other than Charlotte Flair. So here is Charlotte Flair's journey of chasing glory. Ashley Elizabeth Flair was bred to be a queen. Born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, she excelled in athletics throughout high school, including winning a national championship in all-star cheerleading, and also led her volleyball team in back-to-back state championships and was even named Player of the Year. After watching her younger brother Reid pursue pro wrestling, Ashley caught the bug and was signed to the WWE, where she reported to NXT in 2012. However, just less than a year later, tragedy struck the Flair family when Reid suddenly passed away. Ashley vowed to continue the Flair legacy by dedicating her entire pro wrestling career to her late brother, and that summer, she made her NXT debut, where she was appropriately named Charlotte Flair. The following year, Charlotte would compete for the vacant NXT Women's Championship, where her and Natalya would tear the house down and deliver a Match of the Year candidate, where she won the championship for the very first time. In the summer of 2015, Charlotte played an integral part in the Women's Revolution, where she, along with her fellow horsewomen, Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, made their main roster debut and changed the landscape of the women's division forever. At WrestleMania 32, Charlotte made history by stealing the show when she defeated Sasha and Becky in a triple threat match for the new WWE Women's Championship. Throughout the year, she would continue to make history when her and Sasha Banks main evented the pay-per-view, which marked the very first time women had achieved the accomplishment, which also was the first time women competed inside a Hell in a Cell. After 2017 Superstar shakeup, Charlotte was traded to SmackDown Live, where she would become the first woman to ever main event a Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and a pay-per-view, as well as compete in the inaugural Women's Money in the Bank. Charlotte would continue her already accomplished career when she became SmackDown Women's Champion, as well as end Asuka's undefeated streak. She even most recently regained the championship at SummerSlam before entering a heated feud with her former best friend, Becky Lynch. Charlotte has appeared on the cover of Muscle and Fitness, as well as being named to one of Sports Illustrated Top 50 Fittest Women Athletes, and along with her legendary Hall of Fame father, published Second Nature, The Legacy of Ric Flair and the Rise of Charlotte. It's about to get real, raw, and inspiring with the Queen, Charlotte Flair. All right, guys, I have none other than the Queen. She is back on Chasing Glory. Charlotte, welcome back.
Lilian, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's awesome. You gave such a compelling interview last time. And I know that you do a lot of interviews, but do you remember how it felt to be on Chasing Glory before? Like everything you shared?
I did. I made back my tissues for today.
No, you know what? It's been a year. Can you believe it's been a year since you were on? I was going back and I was listening to the episode so I could catch up and kind of be like, all right, I want to catch up. And when I realized it had been a year, I'm like, oh, it is going to be a catch up of a year later, and how things evolved in a year. First of all, your travel schedule, it's insane. And I want to thank you for taking the time to do this, because I know that you guys really don't get time off. So tell me lately what's been going on.
Oh, my pleasure. I've been really fortunate lately. I had a signing in Toronto after SummerSlam. And then last week I went to London for the day.
For one day?
Yeah, for one day to do media for 2K, which I believe becomes available October 9th. And then I had a very cool media event last night in New York with our investors. That's exciting. And yeah, and then I head to Australia next week for the Super Showdown.
Isn't that crazy? It's already coming up. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
You've been to Australia many times, right?
I have.
This is about trip number 5 or something by now. Isn't it crazy when you get into this job, you're like, I want to travel the world. It's so awesome. And then all of a sudden you find yourself going, yeah, I'm about to go to Australia for the 5th time. Is this nuts or what?
I've already been here. No, I'm super. Well, what makes it so exciting is having both Raw and SmackDown and knowing that it's going to be between 60 and 70,000 people. Yeah. So it's almost like another WrestleMania.
Absolutely. I was just going to say it's another WrestleMania. It's just that it's taking place not in April and it's taking place in Australia. That's incredible. All right. So let me ask you, because lately, wow, things between you and Becky, holy moly. Now, I had her on my show last week and the girl's got attitude. She's got attitude now. She sure does. How has it been to do this feud now? Because you guys were very, very close. And so now it's become a rivalry.
So anytime you can find yourself in a meaningful storyline, you run with it. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time, I think, in a while for me that, I've been in so many great storylines, but the fans are really sinking their teeth into this one.
Yeah.
And you just run with it and you see how far you can take it. And it's exciting. It's fresh. It's new. And even though Becky and I have had the opportunity to wrestle each other, this time the dynamic is different, which makes it even more exciting.
But has it been hard because you also were really, really close friends?
No, I think that makes you hit your friends harder. So,
okay.
No, I mean that in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Becky and I came up through NXT together. So in terms of how we view how things should be in the ring and psychology and I know what she does well. She knows what I do well because we've talked about it in the car. So no, I think it makes for a better overall presentation.
Yeah, because, she mentioned how in your rides in the car, you guys spoke about, she was honest with you and told you that there's so many things that you've been able to be on the cover of, so many magazines, the cover of, or just, a lot of press and this and that she wanted that. She wanted that. And you understood that is what she said. Mm-hmm. But now that she really has just gone all out for it. And the thing is, she, is supposed to be a heel on the show, but she's getting cheered and sometimes you're getting booed. I mean, how is that making you feel?
Honestly,
yeah.
If I was getting a reaction, we'd have a problem. And that's what this is all about. Whether you're being cheered or booed, you're here to make the audience react. And that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as the fans are invested in a story.
I love that. You know why I love that? Because it's funny. I was on the phone. I was talking to Stone Cold the other day. And I was telling him, I said, you know what? This Charlotte Becky feud reminds me of you and The Rock. How does that feel to even hear that? Like, to me, that's how I'm feeling. I'm even seeing some things online where people are saying that.
Well, one, it's flattering to be, I guess, people are going, oh, it reminds me of one of the greatest feuds of all time. Mm-hmm. That's very flattering, but I don't know. I guess, yeah. I don't know how. I don't want to sit here and say I don't see myself as The Rock. That's, but I don't see myself as Stone Cold. But no, I do think that with the fan reaction that we're getting, maybe that's why people are saying that is because it's just these two dominant stars that are going at it, mm-hmm. and the chemistry and the attitude and the presence is why they're saying that. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. I would say too, that it's the comparison in a way is because for example, The Rock built body, like And that's what Becky was saying, that you've just got this build and this natural talent and all of that. And she's had to, she's a little rougher on the edges, which Stone Cold was rougher on the edges, you know? And so I've really, and then just the intensity. So I can see where fans are definitely seeing this. And I love it. I think you guys are on fire. I can't wait to see what continues to happen. For sure. Yeah, it's very exciting. So with that said, I want to talk about and kind of, like I said, catch up. You know, last year, Becky said was not her year, 2017. And she said she's making this year her year. What are your feelings? And since we spoke in 1 year's time, when you reflect, what are like some of the biggest lessons or one of some of the biggest differences, or where do you see your career?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me last year was I actually sat down and had goals. And the years before, like when I first debuted, it's not necessarily like everyone has a goal. They want to debut on the main roster. They want to be the champion. But I had so many goals outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Which I tackled head on. And I think while I was tackling those goals, it helped me with my in-ring presence as well. And that's, you know, what was the biggest difference for me last year is it was like, wow, I never thought in a million years if I put on a piece of paper that I wanted to be in the Body Issue and that I was going to go to ESPN and pitch why they should use a female superstar from WWE as the first ever wrestler. I never thought it would happen, but it was the fact that I wrote it down. I went after it. I wasn't scared to go for it, even if they shut me down. And it just kept the ball rolling in every aspect of my career.
Wow. How important was that for you to do that issue? Because you were full on like naked, right?
Yeah. For me, it was important because for the last, it was the 10th issue, but what I loved about it over the years is it was showing a different side of athletes, men and women, in an athletic way, and that could be sexy. Mm-hmm. And people would admire their figures for uniqueness. And because I'm not built like a lot of the girls, and I come from sports, it was so fitting. And also too, being in the issue was also another, you know, I guess I'm trying to think of how to say it. Another reason why the women's evolution is such a big deal, and it's actually becoming mainstream for us. Was it uncomfortable at all for you? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I have a reason, I have a purpose. And they're like, okay, take your clothes off. Oh, what?
but no, I mean, it was just that it was a testament to what the women's division has created.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're actually looking at us as legitimate athletes. And that's what it was all about for me, is because they take, you know, athletes from every sport, and the fact that they considered WWE's women division athletic enough, or they were actually acknowledging our athleticism, and to have one of us in the issue, that speaks volumes of how far we've come.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is for sure. But you guys should be considered. And I mean, it's this battle, right? That's been going on for so long. I've seen it for forever, that for being there at ringside, seeing what you guys do. And I always said the best athletes in the world, especially because you do it 300 plus dates a year. You don't have an off season. And your body's probably telling you that, right?
Yeah.
How is you?
Actually, knock on wood, I feel pretty good. Yeah, but the traveling is the hardest part.
Right. I was going to say, first of all, how do you feel?
I feel great. You just really get used to it. For me, I get my sleep. Like wherever I am, I get my sleep, whether it's on the plane sleeping or I go to bed early instead of, grabbing dinner after the show. Like I get my sleep. And I think that's key.
That is key for sure. But the traveling, what have you found to kind of help out? Because I know that even for myself, I wasn't wrestling and yet the travel would beat me up. Have you found any tips for anybody out there who does a lot of traveling?
Well, for me, it's just staying on a routine. I'm so routine oriented that even though I'm tired that day, it's like, no, you land, you get your workout done, you go to the Whole Foods or the grocery store, and you stay on track. I feel like I don't have my routine, or if I, land and don't stick to what, has gotten me this far, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm falling off the wagon. So I need a routine. And I think that's what helps me with my travel is I'm not like, oh, what am I going to do when I land? Or what do I do at this time? Or what am I going to do when I get to the town? And these places we've already been. So I know the gyms that I like there, or which grocery stores have what I want. And the routine, I believe, really helps with the travel.
Yeah. Okay. I just realized you and Bobby Roode should be riding together now that you lost your best friend as your riding partner. Because I don't know if you heard
Bobby Roode's on Raw.
Oh, that's true. Shoot, that won't work. But if you guys were together on the same show, you would be perfect partners because he talks about his routine.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm all about routine. Like I have to have a routine. I am so regimented, I guess. I don't know. I like having everything laid out.
Is that always been the case?
I think since I've started or since I've been on the main roster, yes. Because my just travel's so crazy.
But not when you were growing up or anything.
Oh, well, it was because I played sports in college.
Right.
So anyone that's played Division I sports, you have a certain time for study hall, you have preseason, you have summer training, you have classes. So everything has to be time management, especially playing sports in college. So no, it's always been, I guess, routine oriented my whole life.
So what happens when things don't go your way exactly and the routine gets broken off in some way? How does that affect you? Does it stress you out?
I'm a little bit depressed if my routine is off.
Really?
Just because I'm not doing the typical things that, keeps my mind on track or keeps me, I guess, focused.
Yeah, you spoke last time on the interview. You talked about how you were really working really hard on your inner dialogue. How has that been going?
Well, what I find is when I am off of my routine, or maybe I do have downtime, I find it very hard to still cope with losing my brother. Even though that's been 5 years, I just don't know if it's something that I just have never dealt with because I went back to work a week later. So that's why maybe I don't like downtime because I just can't emotionally deal with it. I know that sounds terrible, but he's my drive for everything.
Yeah. Do you talk to him a lot?
No, that's when I break down. Yeah. Sometimes now that it's funny because I do have more free time traveling by myself, I try to talk to him, and then I just start bawling up and I'm like, oh my God, I must look like a crazy person driving down the road. No, but yeah, I think with our schedule, we do get extremely tired sometimes. And I find that's when it's the most important to stay on schedule. Cause I do get upset about, things like that.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to, what are you thinking of maybe doing in order to handle that or in order to get through that? Because you said it's been 5 years. So by not handling it or working through it, it's probably just making it worse for you.
I don't know, because Like we talked about on your last podcast, a lot of where I am today is because of what I've dealt with in the past. And I think that is very much a driving force for me, is I just never want to end up where I was. And, continuing my brother's dream and just staying, thinking, gosh, I never thought 6 years ago, I was scared of my own shadow, that I'd be where I am today. So it's kind of like the chip on my shoulder that never goes away. Mm-hmm. And that's what keeps me at the top of my game. So and always wanting to get better and evolving and, always wanting more.
But do you also celebrate in the moments? Because we talked about this.
Yes, with my favorite Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Yeah, I'm guilty.
I love it. Because we talked about this last time, how you keep trying to achieve and prove that it's going to be in a way where it's never satisfying. Do you feel ever satisfied past the ice cream?
No, I do. It's not that I go, gosh, I'm satisfied. I just go, I want more. It's not good enough.
So you do keep doing it's not good enough.
No, not good enough as in my performance. Going, well, gosh, if I obtain that, I wonder what I can do next year and the next year. It's not a negative thing. It's just saying, wow, at one point I thought these things were unobtainable, but they're not. So it's, not being scared to fail and going for something. Yeah. I think would be the bigger issue is it's okay to fail. That's how you learn. But by saying it's not enough, it's more like, wow, well, okay, we debuted on the main roster. Now let's win a championship. Okay, I won a championship. Let's main event a pay-per-view. We main event a pay-per-view. Let's be inside Hell in a Cell. Let's steal the show at WrestleMania. Let's, win both titles. It's like, okay, I got here. How far can I go? Mm-hmm.
Does everything seem to be going your way?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. My whole thing is I just always want to get better. I want to evolve. And I'm not someone that goes, I know it all, or, I have nothing else to learn. I still feel like I have so much to learn. Even in my newest storyline with Becky, I feel is a brand new challenge, a brand new place for my character, where I have to overcome things. And it's a challenge, and it's a good challenge because it'll just create layers.
But in what way are you seeing the challenge?
Well, it's a new dynamic. I was always the bad guy and she was the good guy. Mm-hmm. Now that I'm the good guy and she's the bad guy, it's learning how to be the good guy.
Is that harder for you?
It's not harder for me as a person. I think it's harder for people to accept me as the good guy because I've had so much success.
So that brings me up to something she and I were talking about in the podcast last week. She was saying that she's really felt like the fans have always been behind her and that they've seen she's only won the championship one time and that you've won it 7 times and all the opportunities that you've been given and how she's like scraping and crawling and just all of that. And I even interjected and I said, I could see that too, because if somebody is given opportunities or they're having this and you've got somebody that's working hard too, you could see where the fans would be behind her, right? Because it's kind of like it's the underdog story. So how do you feel hearing that though?
Well, for me, for one, I think Becky, I could not be more ecstatic for her and how much she deserves this. And I'm so excited to see where she goes from here. But I go at the same time, I think her struggle was the underdog, but everyone has their own struggles.
So what's your struggle?
I just don't think mine was as obvious as her struggle. And our struggles are different. My struggles are, having to not be in a shadow.
As far as your dad?
As far as my dad, continuing a legacy. And how do you do that with, how do you do that while coming into your own? And the pressure that goes along with that, and continuously being compared to that, no matter what you do. How do you get out of that? So even though my struggles weren't as an underdog, but they were definitely there in different forms.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't understand.
And you want them to understand that. You want them to hear that. Because that's something.
Well, not necessarily in this story. That's just for me in general.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about completely off the story, like Ashley. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
as Ashley. Oh, yeah. I mean, that definitely is. Well, I don't think as much anymore, but it is something that I think about every time I walk through that curtain. People woo, and I was granted that. Inherited that, and that's a lot to live up to every time you walk through the curtain.
But do you?
And I want to make sure that, regardless if, my last name's Flair or not, that people realize what I do in that squared circle is because I'm doing it myself.
Yeah. But I hope by now you can see that you have gained that. I don't look, when you come through that curtain.
Oh, no. I definitely feel that way now. I just meant that's what I felt with, over the last 3 years on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Personally, my own battle.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I would never change it though. And I'm not upset about it. Everyone has different, paths and things and obstacles that they have to overcome.
I can see that. I mean, living up to a Ric Flair is not easy. I mean, your dad, I always thought about that. Think about, Elvis Presley and I think it was Lisa Marie's, his daughter's name, and trying to live up to Elvis Presley. And, it's a lot. It's a big, big name. And I could see where you struggled with that. And I also can see where, like you said, that ignited you. So it's cool because you turned that into, all right, let's go for it.
Totally.
And that's beautiful. And that's sharing something so powerful that you don't have to ever live in anybody's shadow. You can obtain and work hard and create your own name. And so what you've done is so powerful and inspiring. So thank you, because seriously, I don't have to live up to a name, but I can be inspired by your story, which is awesome.
Well, thank you, Lilian.
There comes the Ashley, the cute little Ashley with the blush.
I don't know what to thank you. I'm turning red.
No, but let me ask you then. Ashley, you said that when you created Charlotte, it was an image of what you wanted to be. How much are you starting to step into Charlotte? How much has that transferred?
Oh man, I had this question last night. I still say I wish I was more like Charlotte every day.
Really?
Because I'm just human. I get my feelings hurt. I'm not as confident every day or some days. And I just feel like Charlotte's always confident. But that goes back to, what's making this storyline so great with Becky is, I think my character is in a position where it hasn't been before.
Yeah. And that's exciting.
It's extremely exciting.
Which makes it exciting for all of us to definitely watch. All right. So we also spoke about the fact of being abused by your ex-husband and how the toll of that, what it did to you. And so because like I said, I went back and really listened to the episode and I'm like, God, this just all makes so much sense of self-doubt and all that, because you were beaten down so much by him, by the words, by the abuse, by, just accepting that. And then, like you said, you were trying to cover up everything and make him sound, even to your parents, like he was such a great guy. Have you been able in this since then to really get through that journey of that? And what have you learned in this past year from that?
I will never settle.
which is why you've been still single?
Never be complacent. That's why I'm still single. I will not settle. I know what I want. And right now I want to be on top of the world in WWE. And that's all that I'm focused on.
So there's no room for a relationship.
I'm working on the one with myself. And I think when I can come to terms with exactly who I am and where I want to be, and whether it's, having a better inner dialogue every day, I'm not going to let anything distract me. Yeah. And I feel like I am ready, but at the same time, nothing has, right now I have so many goals. I want to show the world at Evolution that there's only one queen. I want main event WrestleMania. I want to see how far I can take this career. And if a man comes into my life, he does or he doesn't. But I will tell you this, I'm not settling. And I'm enjoying this time focusing on myself and my career and who knows what's next. And to think that, this last year, I met with someone that helped me with all these goals that I sat down with and told. And she said to me, she was like, everything that you wrote down from the body issue, to certain interviews, to WrestleMania and everything, I obtained them all. So I'm like, why stop now?
So you said last year you wrote your goals. Have you been doing them this year as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you hesitate a minute?
Well, because because it's always been the same goal. I mean, I want to main event WrestleMania, but earlier I said, doubt can kill dreams. And it's like, well, would I ever want to be in an action movie? What are you talking about? You can't act. But that's not the way to think. Right. So it's like in the next few years, I'm laughing because I'm like, what kind of goals am I going to write down? And don't be scared to have the craziest goals.
That's right. I love that. Yeah.
That's why I laughed. Well, but honestly, because one of my goals is I really want a Ben and Jerry's flavor, a Wwe-licious. Oh my God. I love that. Sounds ridiculous. But that's
no, you know what? If New Day can have their pancakes, you can have Ben and Jerry's.
I'm like, if I keep liking every single flavor on their Twitter handle, will they get that?
And what is the name of it? Wwe-licious?
I don't know. I see Flair-licious. I see Wwe-licious. I mean, I'd really like to get my first name on the carton, but I just don't know how that.
Charlie-licious. Yeah, that's a little. Oh my God, I love this.
Web-licious, or I don't know.
I think it's time to get a campaign to Ben and Jerry's to get this. Why not? Why not?
But they're not. Some of my goals aren't even wrestling related. It's just, I just want to continue to grow as a person and with my job. And I do want to fall in love. I'm a hopeless romantic, but
there she is. I was waiting for that.
I have fallen in love with my wrestling boots right now. Yeah. They're what's, changing my world.
Right. Well, what's some of the besides Ben and Jerry's? What's some of the outside wrestling goals? I'd love to hear that because we're also always so focused on wrestling, but there's a whole life outside of wrestling.
Well, I recently moved back to Charlotte, and one of my goals was to move and to settle and buy a home, and I did that. But now I'm like, man, maybe I was fine where I was. Oh wow. Maybe Florida was my center. Because I did so much growing there. Yeah. So now I'm in limbo again. I'm like, oh, do I move back to Florida? Because it's different here and I'm different.
Oh, that's true. Because this is not the same Charlotte when you left.
Yeah. So I'm dealing with that. And then another thing is the Birdie Bee line by the Bellas. Yeah. So I love it.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I'm just like, I want a line of something. So I just have like all these thoughts, and I'm like, is that possible one day? Is something like that possible?
Yeah.
And I always think, like, my sister was like, do leggings. I'm like, no, I'm not really, like, I like my Lulu leggings. Like, I really am searching for something that I am that passionate about.
Yeah.
In order to produce. And that's all. You just can't say, okay, I want to sell this because of XYZ. You really have to, like, you're really good at podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're very interested in hearing from the individual
Right.
and telling their story. And I'm looking for that one thing that I'm as passionate about to do as well.
God,
And you know what? It might just be coaching at the PC. Who knows?
Wow. Charlotte, that would be huge. The amount that you can give to that is incredible. But I can see you definitely wanting and ending up with a line of something. But like you said, it's got to be authentic.
Yes. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. How fun would that be though?
Oh, I know. I'm like, what's authentic though? I'm like, it just can't be ice cream.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
Like breakfast food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just things like that. I mean, I think everyone that crosses their mind.
Yeah.
At some point.
Right.
Look at Seth. He's opening a coffee shop and he has his wrestling school. So I would love to do something like that on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and you're going to find it and it's going to be amazing because like you said, you put everything into it for sure, which is awesome. Okay. So let me ask you though, you mentioned Mania. Well, Becky sees it as she wants to headline WrestleMania with the 4 horsewomen going against each other. Is that what you see for Mania that you want to headline?
I just want to headline Mania. So whether it's the 4 horsewomen, I think that would steal the show.
Yeah. What about Ronda Rousey? Thoughts?
I vision it, but it's got to be right place, right time.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a WrestleMania match? 100%. But there is a lot of time between now and then.
Yeah. And
so,
and what about Evolution? Because I know you said you want to go in there and main event Evolution. So does Becky. Is that like a goal you guys would actually like to do it together?
Absolutely. I think with the current storyline, but what I said was to let everyone watching Evolution know that there was only one queen. But no, I think because someone asked me last week on an interview who I wanted to face at Evolution. And I actually said Becky, because with the current storyline, why wouldn't I want to face her? It's so heated. It's so good. And it's not that I wouldn't be honored to face any legends that come back. But right now, this storyline means everything.
Yeah.
So I would like to go into Evolution versus her. But obviously, if something happens between now and then, I just want to be on the first ever female pay-per-view.
I just, I didn't even see this coming as far as the pay-per-view. So just it's so exciting to talk about it, right? An all women's pay-per-view. I mean, when did you see it coming at all?
I actually didn't. I knew it would come. I just didn't know when, because with the success of the Mae Young Classic and how popular it was, and then with how much depth Raw and SmackDown have right now with talent, I thought it was possible. I just didn't know when.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I didn't even, it's so weird because I didn't even visualize it or think about it, an all women's pay-per-view. So when it got announced, I'm like, and then sure enough, I'm like, well, of course, why not? Why not an all women's pay-per-view?
Yeah.
All I know is you're going to blow the house down because you always do with anything that you do. And that's what's so great about you. And I love your vulnerability. We talked about that last time. And the fact that you've learned to be vulnerable is still to be strong, and to be vulnerable and share your doubts or insecurities, all of that empowers others as well. Has it been easier for you to be vulnerable?
Yes, but that's what I'm working on with my character. I need to figure out how I can show that Charlotte is vulnerable sometimes. And I think that is another layer that I'm working on, because I just had a mixed match challenge match recently. And I got so much feedback because I twerked on there. Not because the twerking was good, because it wasn't, but because they're like, we never see you that way out there.
Right.
And I said, I don't know. I built Charlotte as this armor that no one can hurt me emotionally. It was more of like when I first started, when I first debuted, the fans were booing me, and I took it so to heart. I was like, why don't they like me? And then that's what turned me into a bad guy, and it was great. And I used that and was like, wow, this is a good thing. They're reacting, they're booing, and don't take it so seriously. It's a character. But so I just continued to build that armor and build that armor and build that armor. So when I'm on Mixed Match Challenge, I don't feel that pressure to be so regal and strong. It's like, hey, I'm with my mixed match challenge partner, who's my best friend, AJ, and one of my best friends. Yeah. And we're just goofing off and we're having fun, and I'm going to twerk. And it's like, I'm going out there and just loving to be performing. But it's like when my music hits, sometimes I'm like, I need to learn to be, if I could teach my character how to be vulnerable like that at all times. Vulnerable and having fun. Yes. But it's like, I take things so serious. And someone was, one of the producers was like, yeah, I'd love to see that from you. Like, you were just like, I've never seen you like that. And I'm like, why can't we show a little more Ashley out there? And I'm working on that. I don't know how to. And I think it's just because I built this protection, and it's what I go, no one can hurt me. Yeah. But you did that. You know what? You said that you did that because you were going through such a hard time after being abused, and you felt so beaten down that you created Charlotte as an armor around you. Yes. And so it is understandable that because you built her for that, because for literally your reality, you were crumbling inside. So you're like, I'm going to make this woman my alter ego into something so powerful. And that's what I did. Yeah. And so now it's like, okay, how do I get this alter ego to calm down and have a little fun? Right. But I think that's what's so great. Whether you're pulling for Becky or pulling for me right now, that you're going to see what it's doing to me, that I'm losing my best friend. Yeah. On camera. Yeah. And I think that this is a great challenge for me, and I want to take it head on. I think you can do it. Do you, as Ashley, do you have a lot of fun? Do I have a lot of fun? Yeah. Do you allow yourself to have a lot of fun? Do I have a lot of time for fun? Maybe that's the question. Maybe that's the thing. After we get off the phone, my childhood best friend is coming over. Oh, good. You're going to watch Sex in the City and eat popcorn. Oh, that's awesome. I think you should start going to water parks. I think you should start going to... Lilian, I didn't go to water parks. I don't get... See? And that's the reason you should do it. That's the reason you should do it. I'm telling you. This stuff works. Start getting the fun out of Ashley so that Charlotte can also have a little fun. I do. It's uncomfortable for you, isn't it? To have fun? Yeah. No, my fun is like, I'm like an old lady. I'm like laying down watching Sex in the City. Okay, it's time for you to have kid fun. Kid fun. Oh, I'm like, no, I need to find Prince Charming before kid fun. But you meant like have fun like a kid. I want you to have fun like a kid, because I think that you need to go to the extreme to be able to be in the norm,
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you have to go to the extreme to really then go, oh, okay, I've let it all out. All right. So, and it's amazing what that's going to end up probably doing for your character.
Well, I don't think it's that.
I'm not saying go to the extreme with Charlotte. Don't get me wrong.
No. Like when I did the mixed match challenge, I felt no pressure in a singles match. Mm-hmm. Not that I feel pressure in tag matches, but you're going out there to entertain, and you're not going out there to carry the title or to win the title or to be in the title picture. And I think that I have been in such serious roles that I've never wanted to drop the ball.
Yeah.
And has continued over regardless of whatever the scenario is. And I need to, I don't know how to say it, bring that fun in, that it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Charlotte doesn't always have to be so serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's what I was saying. Go to the extreme.
And like
Ashley.
This when I first came to SmackDown, and I think the fans started to see my relationship with Becky. They were like, "Whoa, she smiled."
Yeah, with the tea and everything like that. Exactly. She smiled. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, this is amazing. All the different layers that we're getting to see. All right. Well, speaking about layers, talk to me about your wardrobe because, honey, I see Charlotte is so big and like you've made her to be so strong and all of that. And I think a big part of it too is the robes that you come down with, girlfriend. They're amazing.
Yeah. So much goes into my character. I'm constantly thinking of ways to make her larger than life. And I decided to do my first robe at WrestleMania 32. I really noticed how many people loved it. And since then, I really just tried to go off of that. And each pay-per-view or opportunity I get to have a new robe or new gear, I really put in the detail of making the character look like the queen when she comes out of Gorilla or to make my entrance. And I think they've only gotten bigger and better and have just elevated my character and added so much to it.
Oh, absolutely. And who makes your robes anyway?
Terry Anderson. Just amazing. She's really just, I think, taken my character to the next level with the work. Because if you look at when I debuted to now, it's like night and day. And they just get better and better and better. And there's always a story behind each one.
Really?
And why we do it. So, not that other people need to know, but we know. So that's what, there's so much thought, and she puts so much thought into each robe.
Can you give me one example of one robe and the thought that went into it for a particular match?
So WrestleMania 33, the peacock robe, the first ever peacock robe. Mm-hmm. There's an old magazine where my dad was pictured in almost all of his robes, like a peacock feather, like the end of a peacock.
Oh.
So we were like, let's do a peacock.
Wow.
So that's how we got that.
That's awesome.
And then he had an actual robe with peacocks on it, but we didn't do it like that.
Yeah, right. But that ends up being in so many photos because, man, it was massively amazing. You still have it?
My robe?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Because I know some of them you've donated for different auctions and stuff. So
no, I haven't given away any of my robes.
No?
No.
That's your collector's piece. And does your dad have his too?
He has some of his, but he has one in the Smithsonian in the pop culture section.
Wow.
I know Hootie and the Blow, or what's his name? Darius Rucker has one. WWE has one. Now everyone from the 2K Deluxe game. Yeah. The Wwe edition. Everyone gets a piece of his robe, and there's only 30,000 copies.
Wow.
So, yeah. but once I'm done,
Yeah.
then we auction, donate, whatever. But for right now, I try to keep them as readily available, to switch them up. And
is that a goal of yours to have yours in the Smithsonian with him?
Oh, I never even thought about
that.
There we go.
Yes. You said you were looking for new goals.
Yeah.
Come on. It's got to be right next to his.
I would love to do a weightlifting competition. I don't know why, but I'm like, wait, I can't do that because of my travel. And I know traveling, it makes it harder with numbers. But I'm like, no, I would love to do something like that. I heard Daniel Bryan did one, he said, when he was out with his injury, I believe.
A weightlifting competition?
A weightlifting competition.
Okay, so tell me a little more about that.
Like powerlifting competition, because I'm really into my cleans and snatches and power cleans.
Yeah.
So I love getting better at those. But then I go, well, I haven't gotten good enough to yet do a competition, but I would love to do something like that.
Oh man, I think it would be awesome. Yeah. Easily. Why don't you tell WWE about that?
No, because to be honest with you, though, right now, everything's so focused on Evolution than Survivor Series, RumbleMania. I feel like that would be something that I would do maybe, I feel like summer is a slower time.
Mm-hmm.
So especially not right now.
Right. But put it on the goal for next summer. That would be awesome. I love that. Oh my God. I totally want to watch you do that too. I'm going to be there supporting you. Well, I got to thank you so much. I didn't make you cry, by the way.
No, I was prepared.
It's always when you're prepared that it doesn't happen.
Yes.
No, but I knew, you know what? Last one was so heavy and all that. I feel like you've grown so much in this last year. I kind of even figured it was going to be much lighter. And I'm really happy for you for this last year, the growth that you've done. The fact that you I even say it all the time, I still have got so much growing to do. I think all of us do. And all of us try to be better at things and all, but it's that consistency of, all right, if it didn't happen today, it's going to happen tomorrow. And the way that you set your goals is so inspiring too. So I'm going to pull for that Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's. Woolicious.
Ben and Jerry's. Flairlicious.
I love it. You need to start going out there with the ice cream. There you go.
Woman, I like all of their tweets.
All right, Ben and Jerry's, come on. You got to make this happen.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
All right.
Oh, and the sad thing is, if my dad gets a flavor and I don't, I'd be so mad.
Yeah, that's when the tears will start. Oh, man.
God dang it.
Well, would you be satisfied if they did one together?
Oh, 100. And if they did a Nature Boy, yes, I would be. At least let me pick the flavor. Okay? At least let me be a part of it.
I love it. I think you guys should do one together. That would be great. Man, thank you. And tell everybody where to find you on social media.
They can find me on Instagram at Charlotte WWE and Twitter at Miss MS Charlotte WWE.
All right. Well, we're going to keep up with you. I can't wait to continue to see the layers of Charlotte unfolding and also Charlotte having a little bit more twerking fun time. I love you dearly. I love you dearly. Have fun at Evolution too. And in Australia. Okay.
Yes.
Bye, honey.
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
And there you have it. Another fascinating interview with Charlotte Flair. It is fascinating to me how people continue to have so much success and then also share in the fact that they still have self-doubt. They still have so much they want to accomplish, right? The goals are just more, but it's things that they really care about. And I think that's what is so awesome and what's so important, people, is to definitely go after things that are authentic to you, that you are passionate about it. Because when you are passionate about things is when those things will come to fruition and it's also when you're going to get the most enjoyment. You can see that Charlotte Flair actually loves wrestling. Yes, she is doing this in Reid's name, but there's so much passion behind it that it shows in the ring. Her talent and what she does in the ring is just incredible. The way she tells stories, her athleticism, the things that she stands for, and the things that she's been through is just constant reminders of that. Yeah, you can go through things in life. I'm sure that her being through an abusive relationship and also through the loss of her brother, the way she lost him was so detrimental and so just intense for her to get through. And you heard it, she's still battling it, but she's also showing the flip side that you can still go after your dreams. You can still live a passionate life. You can still conquer and get through things in life and still accomplish a lot. So thank you, Charlotte, for continuing to be so inspiring. As we say here, real, raw, and inspiring. So thank you guys for joining me again on Chasing Glory. Remember that on Saturdays at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram, I always post some of the reviews that you guys are leaving on Apple Podcasts. So continue to leave those reviews. They definitely help the show. Continue to rate the show. Thank you for the 5-star rating. And continue more than anything to tell all your friends about it, because that is the message here. We want people to have a platform, have a place where they can come on here and get inspired by hearing their stories of their favorite superstars. And remember that I'm going to be shaking things up right after Evolution. I'm going to be bringing on some other guests too that have a love of wrestling, but that have found another passion outside too that they're pursuing. And it's pretty cool to hear other people's stories. Okay, so for now, you know I love you. Much peace, love, and passion. And remember, guys, to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Have a great week.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. And be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.